Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Christine Mackenzie, and I'm the President-elect of IFLA, and it's my absolute pleasure to be chairing this session this afternoon. Firstly, just a few housekeeping notes. I don't know that there are any housekeeping notes, actually. The Twitter hashtag, InfoOnline19, please join the conversation. And sessions, at the end of this session, we go straight into the next session. So there will be, the next sessions will be here and the stateroom and room 3 and 4. So please check your program for details of that. This is a really special thing for me to be able to welcome Glòria Pérez-Salmerón and Gerald Leitner to Australia. This is the first time both of them have been to Australia. They've even been swimming on Bondi Beach, which is better than I haven't been swimming on Bondi Beach. The history of IFLA, I don't know if you're all familiar with IFLA, but the International Federation of Library Associations was formed in 1927 in Edinburgh in Scotland, and was actually 10 years before the iteration of ALIA, the Library Association of Australia, was formed. So IFLA is 10 years older than ALIA. And I don't know if anyone in the room might remember, but in 1988 there was a joint IFLA-ALIA conference in the University of New South Wales. And I can say that it says a lot for both organisations how far conferences have come since that one in 1988, which was a very humble thing I can remember. And that was my first ALIA conference and my first IFLA conference. Over the last 3 years, IFLA's been undergoing a transformation, and 3 things have really led to this happening. In 2015, the United Nations signed the 2030 Agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals, and that really gave us a way of libraries thinking about how we can help make society better. In 2016, Gerald Leitner was appointed as the Secretary-General of IFLA, and he came with the mandate to create a global vision for libraries and to make IFLA more inclusive. And then in 2017, IFLA became a legacy partner of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Global Libraries, which has given us the resources to be able to develop this vision and to create a new IFLA. So there's no one really better in the country today to tell this story than the President of IFLA and the Secretary-General. Glòria Pérez-Salmerón has been the President of IFLA since August 2017. She's from Barcelona and she's Spanish, and she's had a very distinguished career in Spain, including time as the Director of the National Library. Gerald Leitner has been the Secretary-General of IFLA since June 2016, and previous to that was the Secretary-General of the Austrian Library Association. And he's had a lot of experience with international, European and national organisations and advisory bodies. So how we're going to do this is we'll take it as a package, so we'll have both speakers speak together, and then if we have time we will have some questions after that. So Glòria is going to talk to us this afternoon on her presidential theme, Libraries, the Motors of Change, and talk about libraries and the United Nations 2030 Agenda. Please welcome Glòria.
So thank you, Chris. Dear colleagues, hola. Hola is saying hello in Spanish. I guess that in this conference, the only 2 non-English native speakers, we are Mr. Leitner and myself. So I hope you will understand my Spanish accent. In my presentation, as Chris Mackenzie said, I'm going to just briefly explain what encouraged me to run as IFLA president, what moved me to apply and to run next elections. And about IFLA, I know that you Australian colleagues, you are really very much involved in IFLA, so you know already many things about our federation, but it's a pleasure to join this conference, and I really had to thank Vicky and Linda your invitation to join you in this information online conference. You know that libraries have a vital mission to provide access to information to all in a changing world. And this is something that we already know and is obvious. But libraries, in turn, also need to understand the forces that are shaping the environment in order to seize the opportunities we have and avoid the threats that the present globalization is giving to us. So this is, I guess, like this. Some years ago, in 2014, IFLA launched this trend report. And it was really an important report regarding the trends in information society. The identification of 5 important trends that people and information society were, in a way, moving on. And it was really an important report translated into 14 languages and was, in my point of view, really a start to understand better what the citizens, what the society needs in order to get connected, get in information. As you know, information is everywhere, but to leverage my point of view, the way that people can develop themselves better, get it connected. We got several updates of this report every year, and you can find easily in the IFLA website these updates, as well the trend report in these languages I told you, and many other comments, because IFLA devoted a special website to gather every information about the discussions and debates hosted all over the world about this. And also, for me, was very important to see that these trends in information that were really shaping our future, and no any librarian was involved in this report. Any word about librarians, any word about how libraries can help people's lives to get better life. So I started to think about what was the role of IFLA, in which way IFLA could change or transform itself, really thinking about the future of libraries, but as well the future of us as professionals, because no one of us were reflected in this external report that made by experts. So I started to think about and being worried about. This was the way that I really thought at that moment that IFLA could help in a different way. And of course, IFLA was advocating, we have a current strategic plan, and the first of the direction, the key directions of a strategy, is about libraries and society. So we are doing some advocacy, but in my point of view was not enough at that moment to really work on it. So as you know, we started doing this work in a different way, thinking about the future, thinking about how libraries could change. But this was not enough. We will have this trend report in 2020 again. We will have the totally new report every 5 years. And I hope, and I guess, librarians will be, in a way, involved in it. If not, we have really to work hard to have this new thing. I want to focus in one point. In Lyon, in 2014 as well, we started working hard, thinking not about libraries, not about librarians, thinking about the way we could improve the access to information get into the agenda of the United Nations. Because before, in the Millennium Goals, till 2015, any signal, anything about the libraries, access to information and culture was gathered in this agenda. So we worked hard and we did our best, meeting not only in ECOSOC in the arena of the United Nations, also meeting important people as ministers of foreign affairs in many countries to ask them to help IFLA in this award of how to improve that in the new agenda, access to information should be really important as a key for the development of people. And we got really good results. In my point of view, was really a case of success that we got after many years working the news that in the new agenda, in a very small target of the goal 16, we got access to information. This is very related to the transparency and information about the governments and the countries, but it's a first step to go further, to go really thinking about we really can improve this target and show to everybody that access to information is a power, is the powerful reason that have to move librarians. They work to this, work to make easy way and offer meaningful information to everybody. And this was the way that we now can get into our own national paper reviews this goal, this indicator that means that we are working together with our governments, taking in account that information is important and the way we are really succeeding in this. As you know, we have many ideas to do many things, but I have to tell you that in 2016, as Mackenzie said, our president said, President-elect said, we really had a very good news. I guess one pair of very good news. One was that IFLA Secretary General started working as a CEO of our federation, and the way he saw the vision of the future of libraries working together and, of course, achieving a consensus of our own mission of the mission of libraries and the mission of librarians. This was really a good news, but as you know, good ideas need as well some funding, some money to do the work, the field work. And Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation announced already that IFLA was one of the 3 partners for this legacy of the global libraries that this program were close to being done, and which this important process of get the legacy with PLA, the American Library Association, and as well TASHA. The TASHA is a Technical Human Institute in the University of Washington, in the state of Washington, in Seattle. So we 3 worked together. Was really a nice time and very demanding time, because from 2015 till the declaration of the legacy, we worked together with the past president of IFLA, that is Donna Shida, you know already her, Secretary General, IFLA staff, really work hard to see and to shape which kind of projects we needed to get more information about the future and how to really put into our own strategy. This was very important because, as you know, at the beginning we were talking about $10 million, but I guess the good influence of our Secretary General with the Director of Global Libraries got into $31 million. It still really is a very incredible account to spend during 10 years, and now currently we are working 2 years in these projects. So these were really 2 good news, combine the management and the money, and not only the money from global libraries as well, the new approach that IFLA could do, not only with the libraries, also in its own transformation, as Chris announced. So we started with this milestone of IFLA history. It's different. In 91 years, IFLA had never posted a survey of its members. And after this grant, we could really manage in this way to know more about the needs of our members and how, in which way we can really improve the way we are working. Because we are working very hard. Afterwards, Gerald will tell you about more details of the structure of IFLA. And we are really working hard, but must have a common vision, working together for a whole strategy to get the best of our work. So it was really the beginning of a new history of IFLA after 90 years old. So it was the gift of IFLA. And it took me a long time to understand really what was happening. It's not easy, you know, because IFLA is a complex organization. And on my point of view, there were many things working together, but I wanted to see the links between one and another thing. So you will see that is a really important transformation that we are achieving now, because we are running for access to information of United Nations, but as well we have our own agenda, because we have to work in copyright issues, we have to work in intellectual property and freedom of expression, we have to work in many things that belongs to our span of control. This is our day-to-day work. So this is important, but as well the new approach of IFLA with the legacy that is in blue. You can see many things that were happening. As I told, the IFLA survey, as well the new project that Gerald will talk further, the global vision process, and as well other things that the mobilization of leaders, because we need really to be very close to everybody everywhere, not just in the headquarters in The Hague. We really need to come to the places, see people, listen to people, and understand better the needs we have, all the library field. So you can see here as well in orange or in salmon, particularly the things that IFLA has to do, in my point of view, regarding our mindset change. We really have to think that the day-to-day work is something that we have to do, and we need this. It's like tools in the hospital, but as well looking further to have really a good strategy to work in the issues that can help us to get better connection, to get better understanding of what is the consummation of information. So I saw this as a big opportunity, and Gerald will talk to you about this project, very important project, because it's giving us a lot of information, inputs all over the world, what they are the needs and the willingness to do things. Of course, the important tool that is the world map, library world map of the world. I mean, all indicators provided by the national associations, in this case, ALIA, I really thank you to have all the indicators of libraries, staff, kind of libraries, staff, as well connections of internet, what we are providing, because we really need to be very rigorous in our facts. Facts matters. When we are going to have advocacy, we really need to say exactly what we have, what libraries are offering. And as well, not only quantification of library services and so, as well the quality of services we are giving. So you will find in IFLA website as well a manual of storytelling in the way that libraries are helping to get better development in societies. And it's easy to learn because it's just a very, very brief but good manual to understand better what we are asking to gather this information for our library map of the world. And this is important because we have to show to everybody how much libraries can help in many ways to our users, our citizens, especially in this digital age that people need skills to go into the information in a new digital world. And this is really important. And combined with this, IFLA is working as well in a report that is launching every 2 years together with Tacha. And it's a way to monitor the progress in the countries, making towards the fulfilling the commitment to promote access to information, meaningful access to information. So this is a very important report. We launched 2 years ago, and we will launch again next May in Buenos Aires, where is going to be my next president's meeting in Buenos Aires city in Argentina. And we will launch again this progress, and we will see how much we are contributing, libraries are contributing to this new world. So I want to tell you that IFLA was involved in a very important project. It's the EAP, International Advocacy Program. Very interesting program because empower librarians, especially public librarians of many countries of the world, to understand better the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and to help libraries and governments to get better connected. So we started to work in this. I guess this is repeated. And you have here several inputs and results of the libraries, but the most important thing is at the end of this process, 2 years working in this international advocacy program, we were so happy because the results were so important for us. Let me, I don't know if I can go, yeah. Let me see that it was really starting with one workshop and finishing with many workshops all over the world and with many people involved, because at the end, more than 150 countries 15 countries were involved. This is a great, really, result. And of course, many librarians, users, and of course, politicians that saw the virtue of this program and put in their own national agenda that libraries can be a help for everybody in their countries. You can see many pictures because I'm so proud to tell you that is now a very important movement, a global movement. You can find many information about news, publications, tools in our website devoted to this program. And of course, we got the best of the finals that was convening in New York Public Library, meeting 14 countries with their own ambassadors in the UN and seeing how important it was for the libraries and the country as well. And at local level, I want to show you this because this can be as well something very tangible. In my own organization, that is Diputació de Barcelona, is a network of public libraries in Barcelona province. You can find as well many examples that can contribute, can help you to see the way you can work in these libraries and SDGs. I don't want to be more long, but I want to tell you that it's very important what is coming this year so far. That's in the high-level political forum, they are going to work in the special goals for 8, 10, and 16th, and it's good to take a look at this and see if you can help in this. Quality of education, decent work, economic growth, reducting inequalities, and of course going into the main things about the 16th goal that is related to access to information as well. So as a final thing, it's important that you believe in what you are doing. This is my case. I really think the libraries are the motors of the change. I'm totally in favor to convince everyone that this can happen. If you want to change things, you have to believe in it. And the libraries are an investment, and we librarians, we really have to move up a gear. We are the gears of the motors of the change, but we have really to think that we can achieve this change. So as an IFRA president, I'm so proud to represent the global voice of the libraries, to be really involved in these ideas of that the libraries can change life. And I am looking forward to see you at the end of further questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Glòria, for telling us about your presidential theme and the United Nations and where we've come to. I'll ask Gerald now to come up and speak about the Global Vision Project. It's a really wonderful story, and I'm sure you'll enjoy hearing it. Gerald Leitner, Secretary General of IFLA.
Thank you, Chris, but not only thank you, Chris, thank you all for this great invitation to this conference. As Chris said before, it's my first visit of Australia, but actually I have a very special relationship with Australia, because you may hear that my native language is not English. I'm born in Austria and live still at weekends in Vienna, and when I'm travels, I'm often asked from where are you coming, the small talks. I say from Austria, get very polite answers, we are talking, but latest at the moment when they start to speak about kangaroos, I get it, it went wrong. Therefore, tell them politely, no kangaroos in Austria. and there I wanted to tell you it's very popular for Austrians going on travels with a t-shirt, no kangaroos in Austria. But I have another also relationship which connects us a bit more is, you know, when you go for registrations in hotels and you do it digital, you go to a Dropbox, all your countries, start to searching Austria. Austria is not there, getting annoyed, okay, I take the easiest solution, Australia. Okay, this means I'm in a way, I'm an Australian. Thanks for the invitation to here. Okay, but enough about Austria and Australia. Let's talk about Australia and IFLA. And I have now 18 minutes to give you some ideas about IFLA. I can make it here to see how it goes on. Yeah, IFLA, the global voice of libraries. Who has been at an IFLA conference already? Yeah, okay, could be more. Maybe you don't know all about IFLA, and I have now 18 minutes to talk about, and I will use the chance most effectively. We are, if it works, an independent, non-governmental, non-for-profit organizations with 1,400 members in over 145 countries of the world. That's a lot. As you know, the United Nations have 193 countries, more than 145 countries are already members of IFLA. That's good to know, and we have our headquarters in Den Haag in the Netherlands, in the national libraries. I'm working there with a small team from 18 countries and trying to support the work of our standing committees and of libraries worldwide. We here, sorry, may I go back? No, doesn't work. Yeah. And what we have is, what is really great, we have not only this headquarters and the 6 language center where we're translating all major documents in 7 official IFLA languages. When you go on our website, you will see all major documents are translated in 7 languages, because we don't want to leave librarians to language barriers behind. This means we are investing a lot in multilingualism, which makes it quite complicated for us, but we are doing it. Maybe it's not so important for you as English native speakers, but for many parts of the world, it's extremely important to get it translated. Therefore, we have it in Spanish, we have it in Chinese, we have it in Russian, we have it in French, we have it in German. Did I forget the language? Hopefully not. Russian, yeah. And therefore, we have language centers also for translations. We have regional offices in Latin America, in Buenos Aires. We have a regional office in the Asian region, in Singapore, and we have a regional office also in South Africa, in Pretoria, where we try to reach out more in the region. And together with this language center, we have a network around the world. But most important for me is this. This is the biggest brain trust in the library world, that in 60 standing committees are working 1,200 top experts from all over the world, providing you, the libraries, with standards, guidelines, and also support. Because as you hear here in this great conference, standards are necessary, otherwise you cannot communicate. And for this is IFLA standing with the work of standing committees. And it's an invitation also for you, come on board, contribute to it. We have all 2 years election for this standing committee. This year is almost over. You cannot apply for me. But in 2 years is a new chance to contribute and also to get a lot out of it, because you can create there your individual network with people who are working for the same ideas you have. And this is really a great, great chance to go for it. And I guess it's really, I'm deeply convinced that especially in a time of globalization and rapid change, a strong global acting organization for libraries like IFLA, which inspires, engages, enables, and connects the library field, is needed more than ever. And you have such a great, great slogan and title for this conference, Infinite Possibilities. And indeed, there are so many chances for the future. And you explore it here with really wonderful speakers. I got so many ideas already from several speakers of here. But on the other hand, change, it's clear, produces winners, and change produces also losers. And there are a lot of fears outside of this room. And only when you explore here new ideas and create new ideas together, you will go out and convince the people. That's our chance, what we can do together. And there's so much change going on, especially in the media industry, in the information supplier change. And it's not only we who are there affected. And I want to give you here an interview with a person who challenged the whole media industry and the whole book chain more than all others. We have heard from him already. He is very popular in the last weeks, not because of his company, more because of his private affairs and of pictures which doesn't show his face, other parts of his body. And let's listen what he has to say here. It's Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon.
There are areas where your power is so great and your margin, you're prepared to make it so thin that you can drive people out of business. And you have that kind of army, and people worry, is Amazon ruthless in their pursuit of market share? The internet is disrupting every media industry, Charlie. You know, people can complain about that, but complaining is not a strategy. Amazon is not happening to book selling. The future is happening to book selling.
It's not a long interview, and we don't have to believe all what Jeff Bezos is saying. But I guess he has here in this short interview 2 remarkable sentences for us. The first one is, the internet is disrupting every media industry. What does it mean for us as libraries? We are not an industry, but we are part of the supplier chain, and it affects us. And secondly, I love this sentence, complaining is not a strategy. And I hear too many complaints in the library field often, and I guess we should think really in a positive way, like you are doing is with indefinite possibilities. What can we really do? How can we build up our strategy? What can it be? And it must be clear that we are in a very crucial point in our history. When I arrived here in Sydney and together with our president, went from the airport. The taxi driver said, "Oh, what's the future of libraries? You will disappear." He asked her, what are you doing? We said, "A conference." I said, "Libraries, yeah." And then he said, "Libraries, you will disappear in 30 years. And so it went on. Our president got very angry and tried to explain that will not happen because we have a bright future in front of us and we have great ideas. But I guess we are only able when we are doing it really very, very fast and that we are doing it together. The question is just about the future, how to define the future, because what is the future? There are so many predictions, and I guess we all have seen so many predictions which went wrong, actually. And I guess Winston Churchill was right when he said once, it's hard to make predictions, especially regarding the future, and there we are, yeah? But I'm also deeply convinced that the best way to predict our future is to create it together. This is what several hundred years ago Abe Lincoln said, and in a way I have heard it here at the conference in the same. It was the first keynote speaker who was really inspiring, who said, "Build the future you want, but never do it alone." And this is exactly what we want to do together with you. We want to create our vision, our future together, because no one else should do it. We should do it together for us, and no other one should say us what is our future. And we have to think about that we can successfully tackle the upcoming challenges only when we join our forces and act more closely together. This is the condition. I guess this is our strength, and with this strength we should operate, because only a global answer to the challenging facing from the library field from an ever-increasing globalization will be successful. No library is an island. Even the biggest library is not an island. We have to act together. And I'm really proud and happy that there never before has there been such an initiative as this Global Vision discussion and this Global Vision initiative, what we are doing. And this initiative has several goals. Of course, we want to inspire you, we want to enable you, we want to engage you, and we want to connect you that we're going to our future. But at the same time, we want to transform also our own organization, IFLA as a whole. We want to transform it to an open, inclusive, participatory organization. And this is not only on paper, because I guess this whole process shows you that we are really going with our best will and with our whole energy to create such a new IFLA organization together with you. And this is a huge difference to other organizations which are operating worldwide, because most of the time all decisions in big organizations are made top-down. We try to listen what you are saying, to think about, and then to start actions with you together. This is the difference of this initiative. We started 2 years ago to ask very simple questions to the library field. 6 questions. What are the core values of libraries? What are libraries exceptionally good at? What should libraries do more of? What should libraries do less of? What are the main challenges to libraries? And what would be the characteristics of a globally united library field? And it was overwhelming to see this incredible engagement from the global library field that exceeded all our high expectations which we had before. And it became the biggest, richest, and most inclusive contribution to the future of the library field which ever happened. Here you see some numbers to it. We were able really, with this first year, to go for a participation with all generations and all types of libraries. You will find in the global vision all represented, all types of libraries and all generations. And the next number is really exceptional. Participation from 190 UN member states, from all 7 continents. There is no other action in the, not only in the library field, in the science, culture, education field, which is comparable to it. No other organization did such a thing, what we are doing together. And I guess we can be proud of us. What we did, we started with workshops, and our first workshop was in Athens, in Greece, in April 2017 at the National Libraries, where we assembled the officers of IFLAS. I told you before, 60 sections with all of them have 2 officers. We assembled them. These are extremely experienced people working here in all fields what are important for libraries, and we assembled them to discuss these 6 questions. There was enormous energies there, a great start what we had, and all of them went out and organized workshops with their sections. This means with these 1,200 experts, and gave us feedback. This means we started to create a snowball effect in this way to involve more and more people. But it was clear for us, this is very IFLA. These people are very connected for IFLA, and we wanted to break out of this circle. Therefore, we organized so-called regional workshops after Athens, and we invited there representatives from countries from all of the world. We went from Athens to Washington, D.C. We have seen Carla Hayden today and organized it there for North America. Went from North America to Yaoundé and Cameroon, organized a meeting for the Africans representatives. More than 45 countries from Africa. They came together, some of them the first time. Representatives from Library Association, from the French-speaking part and from the English-speaking part, because they didn't communicate before. And they discussed 2 days intensively all these questions. We went from Yaoundé to Alexandria, where we assembled the representatives of the Middle East, and there in the great library of Alexandria. And we went from Alexandria to Buenos Aires, had a meeting in the Library of Congress with representatives from all Latin American countries and from the Caribbean regions. And finally, of course, we went to Madrid because our president comes from Spain, and we had there a great meeting with almost 50 countries of Europe discussing it. And, okay, sorry, I forgot actually Singapore, where we had the input, of course, from Asia, Oceania, and also from Australia, because ALIA, I have to say, gave wonderful contributions to it. ALIA organized workshops here. This means the voice of Australia is very well represented in this global vision, because we got input from more than 700 librarians from Australia. That's wonderful to know, and you can be sure your voice is heard and is there inside. And we had a global voting with almost 22,000 people. But can you imagine workshops with more than 9,000 people worldwide discussing all the same? What is the future of libraries? There's so much experience inside, and this came all to this report. It was great and a great initiative, and we got incredible more than 600,000 answers to our questions. 600,000 answers. Wonderful, but also a challenge for an office like ours to structure it, to organize it. Fortunately, we had, as Chris and Glòria said before, the financial support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We could hire a company from the United States who made it for us. And then we created this report, 600,000 answers in 4 pages. But you can go to our website and can read the whole report with 740 pages if you want. I don't want to go through these 740 pages now with you, but I would like to give you an overview about the outcome of these discussions. What is great is, the key finding is, we are united globally in our goals and values. Really, you see it worldwide, very similar. There we can build up, I would say. But what is clear, there are specialities in the regions and in these countries. We have to take a focus on it. We must be clearer what can we do differently in countries and to bring all these actions together. And as you see here, this is the model of the whole report. On the one side, the highlight, we are united globally in our goals and values, and on the other side, what should we do better in the future, the opportunities. And this is the structure of the whole report, which I want to give you in a time of 1 minute. Yes, 10 opportunities we have here. And the first one, we must be champions of intellectual freedom if we want really to guarantee access to information. We must update our traditional roles in the digital age. Of course, there you are. We are working for it. We have to understand community needs and design services to impact. We must keep up with ongoing technological changes, also a topic here. And this is important. We need more and better advocates at all levels. Every librarian an advocate, not just the leaders. We need to ensure stakeholders to understand our values better. Otherwise, we will not get the fundings. And for this, we have to develop a spirit of collaboration. We need to challenge current structures and behaviors. Otherwise, we will not change our whole organizations. And we need to maximize access to world's heritage in another way. And when we are speaking about the future, we have to give young professionals more opportunities to lead, to connect with us, because it's their future and we are working for their future. And we need ideas for it, because that's a great report, what we have. But how to make these ideas real, how to create it really to a movement? Because we have seen, I guess, many of you, so great ideas for the future, many papers, but papers without execution are an hallucination. And we don't want to hallucinate. That should be the difference. We want to create with you the actions for the future, and it's on you and not only on us. It's how we can do it together. That's the question for the next time. And therefore, we started already with a Global Vision Idea Store. This was what we did since August in Kuala Lumpur, since our Congress in Kuala Lumpur. And this idea store should become the biggest idea stores for actions globally. We want to create a source of inspiration for all libraries and all librarians worldwide, and at the same time for IFLA, for planning our future. And again, we started here a process to involve here all parts of the world, and I'm really happy to see also great input from Australia. There are many, many ideas from Australia already in this Global Vision Idea Store. What do we want to do with it is, and can you imagine the response what we got to our questions? We have already 8,500 ideas in our idea store. 8,500 ideas from librarians from all over the world to make this paper with these 10 opportunities reality. And when you see, we have accomplished already a lot in this time. We created the Global Vision Report summary with these 10 opportunities. And now we are co-creating together with libraries from all over the world the IFLA Global Vision Idea Store, which should inspire libraries to act. This means this has two main focus. The one is that with the ideas from you, IFLA Governing Board creates a new strategy and actions for the time 2019 to 24. And at the same time, we will open in August also the Global Idea Store, the Vision Idea Store, where you can go there and say, oh, I need an idea how to do better digitization, to digitize, how can I do better for access to information. And you will find already there altogether 8,500 ideas which you can transfer to your library and work with it. But don't take only ideas out. Give also ideas in. It's a give and take. And this will make us strong. And all these actions will be supported from IFLA's strategy, and the idea is to get really powerful actions of a globally united library field for the future. As I said, we accomplished a lot. We are in the process now to finalize the strategy with the governing board, and in a very open, really participatory way, again with the professional units. We will launch the IFLA strategy in Athens at our Congress in August, and then we go for a strategy discussion which should reflect all what came in and to create IFLA in another way as we are more effectively, more hearing what you're meaning, and also taking more in account what is going on in the regions. That is what your first keynote said. Build the future you want, never do it alone. This is exactly what I want to underline. Join us in this project. Let's create together our future, a strong and united library field, powering literate, informed, and participatory societies. I count on you. Many thanks.
Thank you so much, Gerald and Glòria, for coming across the world to tell us about IFLA and the wonderful IFLA story that's been happening. Unfortunately, we haven't got time for questions. We need to move into the next session now. But I would like to ask you to again put your hands together and thank Glòria Pérez-Salmerón and Gerald Leitner for a wonderful talk.